everybody, this is your girl Farrah Moniz, your favorite business bestie, and today we will be discussing how one brand was saved by the power of PR. Now, this is why I say brands should never sleep on PR, because sometimes you actually need it to save your business. One brand that's called Popsmith, if you don't know what the brand is, it is a popcorn accessory brand that has started their business back in 2020, I believe. And to get this product actually off the ground, they used 3.5 million to launch the business. And what's so dope about this brand is that just because you have a lot of skin in the game and just because you have built businesses, that doesn't mean that you are allergic to failure. Everybody fails in business at least once or several times throughout the growth of their business. What I love that's so dope about this brand is that they literally started with 3.5 million to launch the popcorn brand. Now, this is not your ordinary popcorn brand that you would see sitting on the shelves. They actually started with a stainless steel popcorn maker, looking to sell this popcorn maker through D2C channels, as well as one day getting into retail. But literally, this brand had hit rock bottom. January of 2024, they actually had to lay off a lot of their employees. They canceled contracts across different marketing and media agencies. They literally had to skin their business down to the basic necessities in order to scale it. And what's actually pretty dope is that the co-founder, Tal Moore, he traded in $600,000 of his stocks just to save the business. And so that kept them afloat for about 6 months until they were actually able to turn the business around. For those of you who may not necessarily know the basic of business, essentially this brand was not able to sell enough inventory month after month in order to keep up with the overhead. And that was a huge problem, okay? A lot of times when you are launching a business, normally businesses in this particular category, you normally don't start really seeing a profit until like 6 years, 7 years, sometimes 8 years down the line. However, that was not their story. Tal Moore and his founder has years in the game. They have owned and have had various e-commerce brands across various categories, and they decided to sell all those assets off in order to start the Popsmith brand and launch and scale it. Back to the issue that they were having. Like I had said, he took $600,000, traded that in to save the business and keep it afloat for 6 months. They used about $100,000 a month to set up their own marketing, their own PR in order to continuously scale the business. But listen, they didn't do it the ordinary way. A lot of companies, they throw dollars at paid media and then it yields nothing. You're draining through budget. You're trying to set up different funnels and hiring different creators and producing different UGC videos month after month and still not yielding anything, meaning you're still operating in the negative. And so what I love that they did was, again, they threw a lot of Hail Marys, but they went back to the basics. How many times have you seen a brand grow and then automatically stop because they forget about what actually got them there in the first place? And so what Tal Moore did to save his business, that I truly believe can help you save your business as well, was one, he started with his network. He started with what he knew, what would get people's attention, and how to get CEOs of other companies to buy into the brand and say yes. So what he decided to do was literally write handwritten notes to the CEO of Crate and Barrel and a couple of other retailers to get their attention. Not only did he write the handwritten note, but he also decided to take packages of Popsmith, meaning their main flagship product, along with some few other accessories that they had, and he packaged them up in like a gift giving package for that particular CEO of that retail company to try the brand out. When was the last time you wrote a handwritten note? I'll wait. Oh wait, when was the last time you actually wrote a handwritten note? Just think on that. Yeah, I don't know about you, but it's been years for me, okay? It's been years since I actually sat down and wrote someone, whether whether professionally or personally, and wrote them a handwritten note. So he literally went back to the basics, wrote a handwritten note, packaged up his products into a gift package, and sent them out to several retail CEOs. Within 2 to 3 months, those CEOs actually reached out to him and say, "Hey, we love your product. We love the packaging. We would love to do a test run on our retail shelves." And so, a lot of the times when you are actually in business, maybe you're not at that point where you're ready to scale into retail. And I don't recommend any brand scale into retail, not unless they have the capital, because there's a lot of back end things, a lot of red tape that people really aren't privy of before they launch into retail. However, maybe in order to save your business, it may not be reaching out to retailers, big and large retailers, but maybe it's the mom and pop brand or brick and mortar store that's down the block from your house. Or maybe it is the wholesale person that has a marketplace where they curate and host various different products on their website, and they reach out to different brands to have their brands on their marketplace, and one of those brands could just be yours. You can literally take that same strategy, write the handwritten note, and send a gift package to those different marketplaces, to that brick and mortar that's down the block where you believe your product could actually sell, right? Or maybe connecting with a creator that you know, like, and trust, and where you love their content, and you decide to write them a handwritten note and send them a gift basket and be like, "Hey, I would love to host a pop-up shop in your city, at your favorite store," whatever have you. There's so many different ways that you can create a community around your brand through handwritten notes and gift giving. Believe it or not, sometimes you have to take it back to old school where, listen, that paper and pen come out and you writing out your heartfelt feelings about your brand, and you're also explaining to them how can your brand best serve them and their customers, and start to build that connection and start to build up that network. So do not sleep on the power of handwritten notes and gift giving, especially when you're looking to get into a small retail store, a large retail store, or even going the wholesale route and have your products shipped and delivered and sold on a particular marketplace. Please do not sleep on the strategy. It can actually get you a long way because they are receiving so many brand pitches, their emails are full. They are probably receiving PR invites. Like, they are being overwhelmed by emails and pitches every single day of the week. So, in order to get their attention, you go a different route and you go with a more personalization approach. And that is that handwritten note and gift giving, as I said before, because you never know what it could yield. So, I highly recommend just trying it, shoot your shot, and see what it yields. The second point that I would like to make is that this business was not able to sell enough inventory month after month in order to keep up with their overhead. So, as I said before, sometimes you have to go back to the basics, right? And when you're just launching a brand, you can't necessarily afford maybe having 100 different products in inventory, because truth be told, you probably even haven't tested the market yet. You don't know what your audience is going to respond to until you survey the audience, until you begin to build a community around your audience. And I highly recommend you do this first before you invest thousands of dollars within products, right? So the last thing that you want to do is be stuck with inventory. So what I highly recommend is that maybe you start with pre-orders. It's totally okay to start out with pre-orders to kind of see where that middle number lies when it comes to selling your brand month after month after month. Okay, Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't do pre-orders because customers want their products now. And, it really encourages you to push your product forward and push your brand forward in order for you to sell out inventory. Everybody got their own advice. Everybody has their own opinion. But when I was starting out, I had a health and wellness brand called Thick Bold and Healthy a few years ago. I started out, with nutrition services, and then I took that and turned it more so in a D2C brand where we were selling sweatsuits, we were selling herbal teas, we were selling literally anything that you can think of when it came down to health and wellness and getting your body in the best shape possible in terms of how you felt. Because I'm all about the girlies and keeping their curves and whatnot. But anyway, I personally did not have, money to have hundreds of sweatsuits in my office in order to ship out every single day. I just didn't have the the funds really and truthfully. Like, I was working my PR marketing job. I was also trying to build this business on the side. And so I know what it's like firsthand to have a product idea in mind and you're trying to get it to the masses and you're trying to figure out, okay, how will I bring this to the masses? And what I honestly would do is go in the pre-order route. So the times where you are running out of inventory, the times where you want to launch a new product, it's okay to go the pre-order route to again get a gauge of how many products can you actually sell month after month to keep up with the actual overhead. So for me, like I said, I didn't have 100 sweatsuits. So what did I do? I took the sample of 3 sweatsuits in 3 different colors. I got my friend at the time. We did a whole marketing campaign around it. I used guerrilla marketing, sent it out to everybody that I knew that was interested in a brand. I had about nearly 1,000 people on my email list at the time. I sent it out, I promoted it, and I promoted it as a pre-order, right? But what was actually cool is that I communicated with my customers, letting them know, like, hey, this is a pre-order, so you won't get your sweatsuit until 4 to 6 weeks after you purchase. For the most part, everybody was cool. Out of all the sweatsuits that I sold with that one drop, probably only got 1 or 2 emails through customer service asking, is there an update regarding the sweatsuits? Really, after that, we were good. Once I got the sweatsuits in stock, I shipped it out to everybody who ordered. And what's actually cool is that literally what I would make at my PR job for the whole month on a base salary actually made that in a weekend with revenue. Not profit, which is 2 different things. People want to scream out revenue, but not talk about the profit. So I'm telling you now, not profit, but revenue. I was able to make what I made in a month at my PR job literally in 3 days, right? So don't sleep on the power of pre-orders. Don't sleep on the power of, being transparent with your customers and then letting them know where you're honestly and truthfully at. And the more you communicate, the more invested they will actually feel in your brand and they will actually feel good about pushing your brand forward and recommending your brand to other people. So the third point that I'm going to make is, again, leveraging the power of PR. So as I said before, you have Pop Smith, right? He's like, listen, our brand is tanking. I'm going to put in $600,000. It's going to pay for marketing, about $100K per month. That'll give us a 6-month runway. We're going to push forward. We're gonna pitch ourselves to retail. We're gonna go back to the basics. Literally focus on what's working and trim down the fat. Anything that is costing us more, a luxury expense, let's cut it off. Let's cut it out. And the third thing that he did, y'all, was leverage the power of PR. He was on LinkedIn. Okay, he was on LinkedIn scrolling through just like the rest of us. We all scroll through LinkedIn here and there, right? We love commenting on people's posts. We love seeing people promoted and graduated and what new projects they're working on. But he was scrolling on LinkedIn and he actually came across a journalist post. And that journalist post said, hey, Oprah's favorite things are launching, within a few months. Applications for Oprah favorite things is now open. Now, if y'all don't know, Oprah is the OG of influencing, okay? She was influencing before influencing actually became a thing, okay? She is the ultimate UGC creator, okay? Like, for anyone who hates and sleep on Oprah, you have a problem because believe it or not, this woman has put brands on, especially a lot of top black owned brands that y'all didn't know about before it landed on Oprah favorite things. But anyway, he looked at this LinkedIn post and was like, listen, I don't know this journalist, I don't know this editor, but I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna shoot my shot and see what she says. So he sees this post. He ended up DMing that editor, and that editor was like, great, no problem. Send me a sample of your stuff. I will consider you basically for Oprah's favorite things. Or maybe she sent him a link that he could fill out to be considered for Oprah's favorite things. Now, after, just for you all that don't know, I've been in the PR game probably for the past 10 years. I've been doing this, okay? My first job was literally as a digital producer in the newsroom. And as an intern, I also interned at Essence Magazine when I was like in high school, and I would see the thousands of packages they would get from brands. And let me tell you guys, it can be very, very overwhelming. You trying product after product after product after product and trying to curate a listicle or a feature post to, blast out to their audience. Okay. So these journalists are overwhelmed from their inbox to the packages that they get. So please give them some grace. And so he sent the product to Oprah's team. And again, when it comes down to being considered for Oprah's favorite things, they are going through at least 15,000 different products. 15,000 different products. Like, they're going through a lot of products. And guess what? He actually won a spot on Oprah's favorite things. His company was literally drowning in debt, couldn't keep up with the overhead, had to skin the cat to save the company, and he applied for Oprah's favorite things and he was selected. Pop Smith was selected. When Oprah's favorite things was released, y'all, and his name was on that listicle, his name and the brand's name was on that listicle, they sold out immediately. Sold out immediately within that first month. The second month they sold out. The third month they sold out. Probably literally within the first 5 months of being on that listicle on Oprah's favorite things, they sold out. And from there, they were able to leverage that revenue to get them not only back to afloat, but also begin investing in other popcorn accessories and other products that they can also start to leverage and sell to their community and sell to their customer base. Now, before y'all get on me and say, Farrah, my brand not ready for Oprah's favorite things, or I don't even have inventory, or I don't even have the funds to be able to market in order for Oprah team to even realize and recognize me, okay? Before you get on me in the comments, all right, I want you to sit and think. This big strategy, it wasn't even that big, but this big strategy that he had, which was look on LinkedIn and see what are the editors and journalists and media are actually talking about. What are they looking for? How can my brand actually meet their demand for the certain topics and categories that they're writing about? How does my brand actually fit into that? He was looking for that. And as a result, it landed him on Oprah's favorite things. So before, again, like I said, before you come for me in the comments, take this concept and just apply it to your brand. I'm not saying that you have to be on Oprah's favorite things for your brand to win, even though that would be great. But I'm not saying that. You can still produce wins by leveraging LinkedIn, by leveraging these journalists. Let me tell you something. In the age where you have UGC creators making thousands of dollars on TikTok, what do you think these journalists are doing? These journalists are also making money on the back end. Every time they talk about your product, your brand, and let's say they have an affiliate link attached to it, or let's say they have an Amazon link attached to it, they are collecting money on the back end. They are making commissions on the back end as well. So they want to talk about your brand. It's not like they don't want to. They want to talk about your product. They want to talk about your service. They want to talk about where you've been. They want to talk about the founder story behind the brand. Journalists are actually looking for your brand, and you yourself actually have to believe that. Now, what makes this point a differentiator that a lot of people will miss is that people are quick to say, well, yeah, maybe he got lucky, right? Possibly, right? But even in that, his brand was ready for the recognition. They're saying stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's basically where you need to be. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And a lot of times these journalists, editors, PR firms, they're looking for a brand like yours to represent, to talk about, to be about, so that your brand can also get the recognition that it deserves because it's solving a particular problem that they're actually looking to talk about to their audience. Before you say, Farrah, that sounds great, but I don't even know where to start to find journalists or to find editors. I don't even know how to search for them on LinkedIn, or better yet, hey, I don't have $2,000 per month to pay for a publicist to help get me featured in these top national magazines. Let me tell you, after working 10 years in PR and digital marketing and journalism, you do not need to pay a publicist $2,000, $3,000 per month to get your name recognized. You could do it yourself. And although I may be saying this because I am that person that charges $2,000 to $3,000 per month for my clients, because it is a lot of work that goes into building a brand from the ground up and building that brand awareness and looking for the right journalists and editors to talk about your product, brand, or service. Although I may be that person that charges that amount, I'm telling you, you don't need it. You do not need it. Save the $2,000, save the $3,000. I'd rather you take that $3,000 or $2,000 and put it towards launching your TikTok shop, right? Or hiring like 10 different UGC creators to make different videos for your product so that you can utilize that and run it for different media ad campaigns. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend your money on a publicist. I think you should, depending on the stage of your brand. Now, if you're a brand at scale, meaning like you have all your ducks in a row, you could read your P&L statements back and forth. You as the founder are now coming out as a thought leader and want to position yourself as a thought leader, then you invest that $2,000 to $3,000 in that publicist and that stylist, and making sure that your name is being in rooms that you didn't have privy to before. That you're securing those interviews on top radio stations. You're securing those interviews on podcasts. You're securing those interviews in magazines and stuff like that. Like, when your brand is at scale, that's when you can invest in a team and get more help. But when you're just starting out and you ain't really got money like that, you can actually do all of this yourself. And me personally, I would start, and I highly recommend you just start with podcasts. Your brand should be 80% sales, 20% PR, right? But that 20% of PR is really going to push your brand awareness forward. Without visibility, honey, you can't make any sales, right? Without the credibility and authority, you can't make any sales. Without the relevance, you can't make the sales. So PR really does a great job at driving that. And so what I recommend is that you focus on podcasts and you focus on getting your product on different listicles. What I mean by listicles is, let's say your product is sunscreen. Even though people normally think sunscreen should only be used in the summertime for whatever reason, honestly, you and I both know sunscreen should be used year round, okay? So what you're looking for is literally journalists that write about health and wellness and that also write about skincare. those journalists will be more than happy to feature your product, right, on a listicle. So a listicle can be like, here are 10 sunscreens, the best top sunscreens you should be wearing during winter, or you should be wearing for summer, or you should be wearing for the spring, whatever season, right? It doesn't matter because your product is a year-round product. These listicles are evergreen listicles that stay on the platform for life. So if a customer is searching in Google, I need the 10 best sunscreens for the best skincare effects, or that will protect me from the sun. Like the sunscreens that will have the best or the top rated SPF, right? That are tested, true, and that people trust. People are actually searching for that. That article will pop up with your name in it, your brand name in it, and a direct link to your product so that customers can actually purchase using that journalist affiliate link, or just using your product link. As a founder, and if you are a sunscreen brand, the podcast channels that you're looking for may be two different categories. You're looking to get on business podcasts, right? To share your founder story, how you started out in business, and what are the best lessons that you've learned in business thus far. And the second category may just be health and wellness, right? You're looking for podcasts that actually talk about women's health, men's health, health and wellness all around, so that you can now educate your consumer about why sunscreen should be used all year round, why everyone should have SPF part of their skincare routine. Men, female, it don't matter. Everybody should have SPF part of their skincare routine. This is why I say, don't necessarily look at the fact that he went after Oprah's favorite things and got that locked in. Maybe your Oprah's favorite things is Essence Magazine. Maybe your Oprah's favorite thing version of that is getting on the top rated business or health and wellness podcast, or whatever category your product or service falls into, right? Look at the bigger picture. And on top of that, you don't need platforms like Cision or Proudly or any of these other PR platforms, even though that would be awesome, that would be great. They will make your timeline and getting featured go quicker, a lot faster, because you're able to pitch to the masses. But when you don't have the budget to pay $300, even $300 per month, let alone $3,000 per month, it's okay to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator that is $6.99 or $69.99 per month. It's okay to use that platform. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is $69.99 per month, which is averages $70 per month. Let's just say $70 per month. It's okay to use that platform and look for journalists that are actually writing about the product or service within your niche, and they are actually looking for brands within a particular niche that they already write for and feature you on their platform. You can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator for that. Also, what's cool about LinkedIn Sales Navigator is that you can look up their email address. You can look up and send them a connection request. You can also, in that connection request, send them a DM. Tell them about your brand. Now, I don't recommend you pitch them, in the DMs, but you make a warm introduction. And then when you acquire their email address from LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can send your pitch directly to them, right? A lot of this stuff you can do yourself. You don't necessarily need outside help until you're actually at that level where you can afford outside help. All right. So again, I really do hope that these 3 points help you get out of your own head and be able to launch, because I really do think Pop Smith is the perfect brand example where you see a brand that started out with $3.5 million to bring their product to market. And again, you don't need $3.5 million to bring your product to market. Depending on the niche your product is in, think strategically about how you can bring it to market. Like I said, you don't need $3.5 million. Maybe you just need $1,000. Maybe you just need $2,000 or $3,000, right? Think about how you can start small and then scale up. We start small and scale up. We start small and then scale up, okay? You can literally take these 3 points, and these 3 points will help you turn your business around. So like I said, number 1 is going back to the basics. Let's just go back to the basics. What got us here in the first place, right? What got us to the point where we were just able to generate $1. Okay. For me, when I was running my PR firm, I didn't have a large money for ads when I first launched. No, but what I did have was connections. And so what I did was reach out to those connections and refer my product or service. And then we were able to scale to six figures, right? Within less than 10 months. The second step is maybe you don't have the budget to get inside retail, and that's totally fine, right? But you have other smaller vendors that you can connect with and get your product in front of them, and so they can get your product in front of their customers as well. And number three, listen, don't sleep on the power of PR, baby. Because at the end of the day, the things that your brand really needs to scale is visibility, credibility, authority, and relevance. All of that drives revenue. And that can either come from your mouth, or you could use a third party to validate your product or service and drive even more revenue, even more of an audience and followers and sales to your brand or service. So I hope these three things help you guys out. If you are looking for a business community to be a part of, I truly believe that you should not be in a position where you are building your dream business and your dream life alone. It is hard for everyone out here. We come across various different challenges in life, and a lot of times that saves us from like truly hitting our rock bottom, or even if you're at your rock bottom, the one thing that I know that picks all of us up is community. So if you are looking for a business community, a life community where we are building businesses from the ground up and helping you scale, please join the Build Out Loud Academy waitlist. I put this waitlist up because I want to see what are the different business challenges you guys are having. What are the different things that we can get through business together? We're all in the trenches trying to build and grow and figure this thing called business and life out. And like I said, you shouldn't do it alone. So if you're interested in the community, please, again, use the link below, join the wait list, and we will let you know when we launch. Until the next time, have a great day. Peace.